Hey Clinkers, this is Doogie.
This is Ia,
And you're listening to Girl Cheers.
Girl Cheers is about sharing our experiences as Hmong female millennials and building relationships among the larger community.
In this episode, joining us is Porsha Chang, here to share all the deets about Hmong pageantry from start to crowning, what happens after the crown, and the drama in between.
Every episode, we will be enjoying a brand of alcohol and give you our thoughts. We love the company of a good glass. This is the perfect time for you to go grab a cold one and drink responsibly with us.
Hello, Clinkers, and we are back with another episode of Girl Cheers. And today we have the very lovely Porsha Chang as a guest on this show. Just a little bit about Porsha before we deep dive into this episode.
She has been actively involved in the community for many, many years. She's currently a teacher at Sac City Unified School District. Whoop whoop. And, she has the really awesome opportunity to create and teach Hmong language standards for the first Hmong dual immersion school in California. How awesome is that? Also, her love for languages allowed her to become a translator too, and a community reviewer for different states and agencies across the United States. Porsha, man, she is just really blazing through. She's continuously striving to actively be involved in her community, and which basically prompted Porsha Production in 2018. And in Porsha Production, they aspire to promote the Hmong culture, the language, the traditional art of storytelling through the lens of film, all the while producing opportunities for Hmong talents to showcase their arts. And I've seen her movie, and I freaking and she hopes to use this platform as an outlet to create healthy dialogues about sensitive topics within the Hmong community.
One contributing factor that played in a part of Porsha's strive in life was partly due to her involvement in pageantry. Porsha was involved in 3 different Hmong pageants. She first competed at the age of 16 and was crowned Miss Hmong California first runner-up in 2006, and went on to compete in the International Hmong Pageant 7 years later in SpongeBob Boys.
You should really put 7 years later SpongeBob Boys in there.
In 2013, she was crowned Miss Hmong International second runner-up. Porsha's final pageant competition was in 2015, and Porsha was crowned Miss Hmong United Go Yi Sang. Throughout her pageant experiences, she assisted, trained, judged, coordinated, and sponsored other girls for competition. The pageant journey has taught and helped her grow as a person and as a professional. It was both humbling and empowering. Porsha continues to be involved in the community and supports those that also have the passion to make positive changes.
And one of her goals and focus now is to finish her film, which is called Healing Series, with hopes of releasing it by early 2023 of next year. Stay tuned, you guys. This film will be a spiritual journey that highlights stories of personal experiences of love and loss, fighting shame and guilt, struggle of mental illness, and finding the power to keep going through the darkest of days. So,
let's welcome Porsha!
Thank you, ladies. Thank you for having me.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Girl, cheers. So, on the menu today, we are having Campo Viejo Rioja. And it is a 2014 aromas of ripe and fruit with spices and vanilla. Perfumed, soft, and fresh. Pasta potri and fresh like cheese grilled in chicken small bites. I'm trying to do my Italian voice. Anyways, lady, this was the wine of choice that I chose for today. It stood out to me because it said 2014, and the topic of today's episode is on Hmong Pageant And 2014 was the year Doogie competed in her first Hmong pageant.
What?
Girl, cheers.
Thoughts on the drink?
It's not bad, it's not sweet, but it's not super dry. I think it's okay. I think it's pretty subtle.
Yeah, I agree with that description. I looked at the bottle. It says Tempranillo. Can you see that again? It's Tempranillos. Yes. It's a type of wine, and usually it's not as heavy as a Cabernet Sauvignon. I'm a Cab Sauvignon lover, so I know that there's a big difference between those two wines. This one's definitely a lot more mellower, but it can still give you that red wine dry urge taste that you hope for, but you're not gonna die.
So on the topic of Hmong pageants today, I definitely want to talk about our past experiences of Hmong pageant. We gave a little introduction of Porsha, of how she competed in 3 pageants up until now. If everyone can kind of share their experiences with Hmong pageants, I will let Porsha give us more details on her experiences.
Okay, well, I don't know where to start. Let's just say I competed over a decade ago. I competed in 2006. I was 16. I think the age limit, a lot of things changed now versus then. I think a lot of things changed. I would like to say we came a long way, but at the same time, there are things from the past that I wish we could have brought back. Back then, we had more girls. That year, we had 16 girls. I was 16. So now, the legality of things, a lot of organizations are just not having it with minors, right? So, but during that time, there was that flexibility, and I think my bias, my implicit bias, that back then girls just seems to be a little bit more mature of age. So a lot of the girls were 16. Yeah, so I competed in 2006. That was my first year. We had 16 girls. That was the first year they held it in Sacramento. So that was actually the first year of Kel Expo New Year as well.
You were a trendsetter since that time.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I never really saw it that way or thought of it that way. Because I didn't place, and I wasn't crowned. But no, I think because I live locally, and our first place winner lived a little bit further out. So when there was a lot of things happening here, I just wanted to be there. I love the whole community and outreach, so I was always there. So yeah, that was my first year. I was young, dumb, and a little broke, but I just wanted to be there, so I was always there. And then, fast forward, I was very confident. I think out of all the 3 competition, that has to be my funnest and the most authentic of me. My second year, I competed in 2012 going on to 2013, the year where they said that the world was going to end. So, yeah, so I competed that year, and that was the first year that Fresno International had bikini. So, again, I was the first of that year of bikini.
I know. Cheers.
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 And, it's been 7 years, almost like 10 years in between of my experience to go back. And I didn't decide that I was going to compete until 2 weeks before the competition. But that's when I realized that if I put my mind on something, I could do it, because I lost weight for that bikini round, and was able to just go out there.
Side note, I think you can find that video on YouTube.
Ooh, don't do it. And so I thought that, that was it. I didn't think about going again until 2015 was coming around, and I decided that I graduated. I feel like my life just kind of seemed to be on the path. I had my first step in the door of working as a Hmong teacher, and I feel like things were just going right for me. I was getting a lot of help. So I decided, you know what, let's wrap my chapter up, and I'm going in for the right reason, because whether or not I win this time, this is where I wrap up the chapter of pageantry, because I got my foot into a whole new chapter, and that was into my my career. And so I just wanted to wrap it up. And when I went, hey, you know, when you go in there not having the expectation to win, but really just for to have fun, to wrap it up for other reason, and you take the crown, it's rewarding. And so that was my experience.
Wow. Wow, that was a lot, and that's awesome that I don't think anyone knows your pageant journey. So for you to share that with us and to be willing to share that with our audience, that means a lot. So thank you for coming out to tell us that.
Thank you. I think people don't see like the hard work and sweat and the why, and to really go. People just see you right when you have that crown and say, oh, you competed, you're the pageant girls. And yeah, they lump all of us together, but you know, everyone has their own unique story. And so thank you for having me here.
Well, let's move on to the next person. Ia, you're gonna tell us what is your pageant experience.
You know, yeah, 구조절하러 like Duji. You know, I always joke around with Duji because this one year Duji, I guess I'm kind of giving it away, but there was one year you went to do your pageant. I was like, 구유민 your basings. I have no pageant experience. I'm just a regular old citizen. I go to New Year's like, oh, they're on stage. Oh my God, they're doing talent. And then I go walk around. Oh my God, they're doing question round. So that's what I do. I just go watch it whenever I can, and then if during YouTube, I go and search for it and I watch it. I don't know.
You're the most important, you know, the part of the whole pageant journey. If we don't have you there, we just don't have a show, you know.
We are really hyping us, basing. But yeah, I'm just that, and I think besides that, like, a lot of people just always tell you, because you're a girl, and they're like, you're single, go run for pageant. Mm-hmm. But I just never really found my strong why to go. I think I have purposes, but I think I just haven't had or found my strong why to go to pageantry. There were times where like it's kind of knocking on my door, but I'm just like, should I open the door? Maybe just peek. And then I walk back and I don't open the door. So that's just me.
You're like stranger danger. So
yeah.
Let's just say I heard a little knocking at Ia's door at one point. A lot of points.
Yeah.
I never convinced her enough. So with my experiences, I would say that I was very similar to Ia for a very long time. I didn't know a lot about Ia. I was facing. With Ia, oh, pageant girls are on, let's watch it. Mm-hmm. And then I just didn't pay much attention to it until college. I think something happened in college where I just decided that I want to go out, I want to try things, I want to do things out of my comfort zone. And one day, shout out to Lei Vang, comes out and promotes a Hmong pageant to Hmong Student Union, HSU. And it was just perfect timing because I wanted to go out and do things. I didn't know much about Hmong pageants, but I was just like, let's do it. I'm ready. Whatever, let's go do it. I wanted to lose weight too, but whatever, let's go and do it. And then I went in blindly. I didn't have a team. I didn't know anything about pageants. I just thought that it was a fun summer thing to do. So I competed for Miss SEA Games USA, and I didn't take it seriously because I didn't realize how serious it was to other girls, to the community. And I want to say like the week of, it finally clicked in my head, and it was just like, wow. It's freaking serious. Yeah. Strangers are coming out to see you. You didn't tell your family, and now they're like, you're competing for a pageant? OMG, do you even have a sponsor? And I was like, no.
What is that?
Yeah, what's a sponsor?
It's okay. It was just like that.
And that's where I learned so much that family support is so important for pageants. Friend support, community support is so important when you do decide to compete in a Hmong pageant. So I competed for my first pageant. I didn't expect to win. I just wanted to put myself out in there, out of my comfort zone. And surprisingly, I'm so surprised because I won. Not first place, not second place, but third place. When they called me for third place, I was so shocked because I went up on stage and I stuttered and I couldn't even say my sponsor's name. I froze. Do not look me up on YouTube. Thank you.
I think you are on YouTube. Yeah.
I stuttered, I froze, and that's why I was so shocked that I won third place. And that's where it also clicked in my head that, okay, Douji, you obviously shine. You obviously have something. You just need, as Porsha's word, plug. You just need someone to plug you. You just need someone to help you out a little. And so it was about 4 years later when I finally competed in my next pageant. This is the Sacramento Hmong New Year pageant, the one pageant that Porsha competed in her very first competition. And I was inspired to join this pageant because after my first pageant, I was really scared to go back. There was this stereotype of a Hmong woman, Hmong girls competing in pageants. But there was this Miss Hmong California that just kind of changed my whole perspective. So shout out to Mai Ying Thor, Miss Mai Ying Thor, Miss Hmong California 20.
Cheers to her. I know her.
Woo, girl.
Girl, cheers.
We're hella empowering right now.
So the following year, I competed in the Miss Hmong California pageant. And the objective was to go make friends, go build a network, get involved in your community, and come out with something better. And if I don't win, these were the things that I wanted to come out with. If I do win, holy cow, that's awesome. And that year, Porsha was also judging. And OMG, girl, I slipped on that stage.
I don't remember that.
Me too.
I slipped on that stage and I didn't place. I didn't win whatsoever, but I did come out with what Porsha as the judge saw a spark in me and was just like, girl, we just need to plug you.
You want a sponsor? Hey, you don't know. You want a trainer.
Long story short, she trained me for the next pageant and I became the reigning Miss Hmong Central Valley for 2019.
Woo, woo, woo. I know.
Girl.
Cheers.
I do that sometimes. If I can't do it for myself, if I don't have the energy to go on stage anymore, I create little babies. But I don't just train. I don't just train anyone. I think that a lot of times, to be honest, I think I haven't trained a lot of people. I think to call the girls that are actually mine is just probably two of you guys. Maybe two and a few, but then the other ones wasn't with me throughout the whole process. I think like we really like strip you down and then we rebuild from like almost like everything that you learn, I want you to toss out. So almost I feel like your win was my win. I was so proud. I really feel like a mom. Yeah, so there's definitely, you were definitely shiny. You should be proud because, I don't. I think I'm a hard person to persuade and I really saw something in you. I was like, no, this girl, like, yeah, we need to do it again. Think you would have.
What was that something that you saw in her? Because I think it's really hard to describe. I mean, with Douji, when she was on the stage, I think you can feel it. Mm-hmm. But maybe if you can describe that feeling that you got and you're like, wow, this is the feeling that I know that I need to reach out to her.
No, absolutely. I think that, I think we all have this we're all so intuitive. We have this intuition where we know someone BSing and someone not. And especially as, someone who went through it as a trainer, as an educator myself, you can just look at someone and know, I think I like to say every girl who's up there has a reason to be up there. They're all there for their own reason and they're all there because they are authentic, but were they authentic to themselves when they were up there? And so, yes, maybe this person is saying, I am true to myself. That's why I'm here. but like, were you really, really true to yourself when you were up there? You know, you people, when they go up there, and they automatically became their trainer. They automatically became their coach. They automatically became this girl that they were inspired by. So they lose themselves. And so when Dorothy was up there, I saw her trying to break through that window, but she didn't have the tools to break out of that window, you know. And you know, I just saw that, wow, she's strong. One, she is amongst one of those girls, aside from either other girl that competed in international. Dorothy has this powerful voice. If you know Hmong girls, we tend to have this high pitched voice, like very, very subtle, very like soft spoken. Dorothy have a voice where I always tell my mom, she has that voice, right? When she goes up there, it comes out, right? So her voice can be used for two things: a weapon and you know, empowerment. And so if she don't use it right, it will come out just gong gong. If it comes out, it will hit the right gong, right? So I was like, this girl has a lot of potential. I see the passion burning in there. It just wasn't equipped with the right tools. So yeah, that's what I saw.
Wow.
Are you inspired now, Ia? Are you gonna go compete now, Ia?
Oh, go to excited. Look back and like this shit do the tower right there.
What are you talking about?
Okay, Duji Tatano, she's so one of her dreams is to really inspire and encourage me to go join a pageant.
Yes.
You want me to experience the pageant?
You have to experience it. I cannot describe it in words that anyone will ever understand. I was in your position to where I judge girls a lot for competing. Yeah. And then the moment you're a part of it, it's a whole different experience. Just so different.
You know how like when we watch like White Chick, right? And then you see like how they portray white girls, right? Just very glitzy, like very blonde and pretty and oh my god kind of thing. But so I think that's how the world kind of perceived just pageantry, especially in the Hmong community. They kind of see it used to be a prominent tool for like women to really go and have a platform and be very invested in the community. But then it's not the girl's fault. Sometimes it's these organizations that are not quite structured or organized to help lift and build this. They give this girl this platform, but the platform is almost like it's not even a platform that the girl can build on. It's like inflatable, like
it's like a double-edged sword.
Yes, it's almost like those tube where you just kind of toss her into the floaties and then she's floating away. Wow. So she can't really stand on it. She can sit on it and like just kind of go with it, but she don't have the power to even to anchor it. No, yeah, I think like when you enter, you definitely come out different. You win or not win. I think you come out winning because you will see a lot of things. And a lot of people don't talk about the ugliest. All they think is, I win, great. I don't win, they cheat. No, there's more than just that. There's the political side of things that people don't want to talk about. And when people talk about, you will not understand it. When you win, you see the political side differently, and you see how the gameplay works. When you lose, you see it from a different angle as well. And then when you get second place, third place, when you don't place, you see it all from different angles. When you train, you see the political side differently. When you judge, you see it differently. And so like it's good. The moment you go and enter, you definitely, the first step is you don't judge. At least you don't judge those girls anymore. There's still gonna be things you're gonna judge. You're gonna hate people. You're gonna hate sponsors. You're gonna hate judge. You're gonna hate the organizer sometimes. But you're gonna realize that you're gonna either be upset, be bitter for the rest of that, or you become a better person and you fight again.
So I feel like the pageantry itself is really multifaceted. And I think I still feel like a lot of we are still pretty stuck in our old ways, and sometimes instead of they would say like, oh, and their beauty is still one of the very number one quality for a lot of viewers. And so when someone who wins and they're thinking that they're not beautiful, then they write comments and I see those, and even if I'm not that person who won, like I still want to defend that person. Like you have no right to tell that person if they don't qualify to win or not. And I think that's one part where as small people still have to learn that yes, there's politics and stuff, but these are our Hmong girls out there. These are girls we want to uplift and empower. And for you to say that she's ugly, she's pretty, she has, tone deaf, whatever, it does not help. These girls put themselves out there, and it's just not for your entertainment.
Yeah.
They're there for a bigger purpose. And so I think, again, we have a lot to learn too as, but again, there are a lot of viewers who are really, really proud of these small girls. And I think one thing that you talked about how, of course, when you sign your name into an organization, you are basically their face. And I think that's one big piece why I feel like I've never wanted to sign my name, because maybe I don't know too much of the politics, but from what I've heard or seen as a basing is that when you win or whatnot, you do become some sort of like a political pawn to them, and I don't want to be moved around like that. But yet again, there are still really good outcomes out from it too, and so maybe you guys can also chime in from that piece.
I will say that the pageant I competed and won, I was never used as a political pawn, because I don't think they ever saw the value in their Miss Hmong. Central Valley. And through that, I had a power to do whatever it is I wanted to do that year.
I think that's nice too, right?
There's a double-edged sword to everything.
Yeah.
But with Sacramento Hmong New Year and Fresno Hmong New Year, I don't know about any other New Years out there who does have a Miss Hmong. I think at this point they realize that their Miss Hmong is very important, and they want to use her now. And that has only been recent. It's only been recent. They haven't been valuing their Miss Hmong in the past few years when Porsha first started competing.
Yeah, I think in the past it was because of a lot of things legally has changed. So before we had young girls as young as 15 years old competing, right? Let's talk about Merced, Central Valley, right? They before in the past, I don't know if you guys know that, but there was other ethnicity that was competing with us. We have Gyaw, we have Blah. So I didn't know the judging criteria during that time. But so a lot of things change. And so back then it was almost more like, it's okay, because I don't know if we can call them back, if there's a language barrier, or you're not you're not even of age to do this. So let's not get into legal trouble. So that was, I think, from for a long time, that was the practice. Until now, our girls are now more educated. We have educated girls who are of legal ages, who's challenging them, hey, you guys had a meeting, how come I wasn't part of it? Because they're not used to it. They start to some of them gets a little bit defensive, because they never had that before. So it's whoa, are you challenging us? Are you trying to overthrow us, or what's going on? But the thing is, sometimes from their perspective, because a lot of things have, let's be honest, how many New Year's has a Hmong president that is a girl? We don't. We never. Maybe, I'm not sure if Stockton or one of those had it before, but we don't. It's not normal. So then to have this face of the New Year, the entertainment section, a girl now coming and say, I am the face, so I'm gonna lead it this way. I'm gonna fight for this amount of money because they could, and to do that, it's almost like a challenge. Whoa, why are you? Because honestly, they have that much power. But we were so afraid to challenge them that we just don't be part of their meetings, or we never knew if that was normal,
or even our place to do it.
Right. And so I think that I was very, very fortunate that I competed at Goyising, because they were a small New Year, and they were fighting for the people, and it was free. And so I have to be honest, I was the face. And so when I actually won that year, being one of the girl who's the oldest, during my time to be one of the oldest that won, and not even just at my New Year, at all the New Years, I feel like I was amongst one of the oldest, if not the oldest, that won. And I wasn't old, I was 24. And so and the capping during that time was 25. And so for that particular New Year, and so I won that like they really respected me. I have to say that I'm still friends with these people, and they're older Hmong men who's older than my dad, and I keep the relationship because you have to build a relationship. You cannot wait for these people who's so used to being that way for them to change. If you're gonna change, you start now. You start asking you ask question. You go in there and demand to be part of the meeting because you are the face. As much as you say, no, I don't want to be face. When you put yourself in there, you become the face. As much as, at the end, they go, but you're not needed. You are needed. Because when you go and you mess up, right? Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to. So I think that, during all their meetings, I demand to be there. And when I, told Eiko, I was going to say graduated, but when I crowned the next girl, I came back with my portfolio of everything I did every month for them. And I kept record, the timeline in and out. And most of all my activities, I never wore a crown to it. And so I show them, I tell them that, I can speak volume without having a crown on my head. And I wanted to set the empowerment. My platform was woman empowerment. And I wanted to show the girls, because of course we always have these girls, some girls will say, you don't need a crown on your head to do it. Okay, so let me show you. I don't need a crown on my head. I did all of my activities without a crown, and I was able to do it. Anyone can, but a lot of times, we are just so now that I have a platform, I'm going to rise to the occasion and do it and be recognized for it and show this organization that we matter, and then we are the face. And we were a small New Year, but for people to then that speaks volume. It's not the organization. You don't blame it. You started. You have to change.
So we talked about some very important things about pageantry in general. I don't think it only applies to Hmong pageant. And the next question I have here is, future girls, young girls who do want to get started in Hmong pageantry, what do you guys recommend them to do? How do they even start? Where do they go?
Yeah, so going back, we're in the new age now. Yeah. New age. It wasn't the Stone Age like my age, right? We
Stone Age.
Yeah, I was in the dinosaur stage because we had no YouTube. I remember when I was going to compete, Sacramento never had a pageant, and so the girl that crowned me was Ashley, and she was on Fres International, and so not crown me. She crowned my year. She didn't crown me, but I remember going to Betu Dalao. He was more involved. He was like an MC. So I have to go ask him to see if he has recorded cassette. Good thing during that time, I knew the son of one of the people in Fresno, that he brought like a bunch of cassette of every year. Let's take China. So ask for it. They always get recording of Jantai. Okay? So, they always make
That's a Terrazon. He's
Atari.
He's always there every New Year.
But that's another discussion. But in Fresno, they always have it. Why? Because I can vouch for it. Whoa. Yeah, ever since dated back in the 90s.
Whoa.
Yeah. Back then, I didn't have those resources. No YouTube, no nothing. So everybody. Yeah, and with that year, we weren't even sure if there was going to be a pageant. So one of my still good time coach and friend, her name is Nikki. She was one of the coordinator who was actually the face of the coordinator, because we had only 3 days to practice. Yeah, we basically practice all noon outside of the pageant, and then like call those stage. We practice the stage. The next day we compete. So my first experience was until after the fact. But then even understand the word sponsor. I really never knew what sponsor was. I thought that I was like, why do we have to get sponsor now? I'm seeing girls put up their resume on Facebook and saying, if you'd like to sponsor me, this is this package A, B, C, and D. I was like, whoa, they smart. They are smart, because honestly, that's the right way to go, girl. You gotta sell yourself and let them know cú yên zhong na. So you got sponsor cú na, cú mui got yin tao lun chimona. And so back then, we should have saw ourselves with that much value. And so that was something I shied away from. So yeah, so to answer that question, how do you get started? I would say it's before they're like, it's not, but it is very, very important to have a team. To have a team, because you forget to eat. You need spiritual supporter. And when I say a team, all the big stuff that such as hairstyle, makeup, wardrobe, let's just put that to the side. Let's just talk about the small things that we forget, like a mindful person, a wellness person who just sits there and says, woosah, breathe now. Breathe now. Eat. Here, let me shove this food into your mouth. Or let me massage your feet. Are you cold? Is your hand numb now? Why are you shaking? Your voice was too low. Hey, it's okay. Oh, the parent outside, they just fought, but that's okay. Don't worry. You're gonna have someone there who has to be that spiritual support. It's funny, but that is serious. And each one, we have that person. We just don't realize it. Whether that was a boyfriend, a mom, or a girlfriend who was there to just carry our purse for us. Or the extra, the one who just say, you just need that person. Yeah, that person. She or he is your spiritual support. You need, that's why at the end of the day, your team have to consist of a variety of things, because you need someone to keep you sane through it all.
I do agree with the team, because I competed in Sacramento with no team. I hired a makeup artist, I hired a hairstylist, but they weren't there for that spiritual support. And then when Porsha's talking about that spiritual support, girl, let me tell you, my niece walks in and go, oh, let me help put this on you, and her hands like and then I looked at her and I gotta go, freaking Deanna, get out of there, get out of here, you're scaring me.
She literally went
Amazing. In the pageant world, everything is that dramatic. Let me just tell you.
Let's just say the nervousness is real, and that spiritual support, if anything, that's what helped me won Central Valley, because Porsha and the team she put together for me really helped calm me down throughout the whole process.
Also, behind the scene, and she was so calm. She's just sitting there like touching her nails, while me and Ashley was out there about to fight a vendor. Because when you look for the platform, for her talent, when we got over there, we brought back, it was broken. So I was like, oh my gosh, girl, Ashley, we gotta go back and let her know that we went back. We almost went at it, but I have to tell myself, keep myself together. So we just, we bought another one and we came back. It went well, but I have to tell you, behind the scenes, that was just one small thing. All the big things that people our goal as me as the coach for her, I have to make sure all of those don't get to her, so she don't have to worry. Wow. But it hits me.
What goes into a team? Obviously, there's the spirituality part of having someone to calm your nerves down. Who are other people we need on our team for pageantry?
So I would say that even if you know how to do your hair, you know how to do makeup, I think that's the problem. That's where it messed up. Where you say you are the person going to competition. Whether or not you know how to do makeup, whether or not you know how to do hair, all you need to do right now is think and rehearse what you're going to do next. And you're going to have to get all of those people. So you're going to have to get someone who's going to do your hair, someone who's going to do your makeup. And when I say these people, I really mean they become part of your team. Not just people who comes and do it 4 a.m. and they leave. They have to be there, because when you come down, they're going to have to touch up here. When they do that, you're going to have to remove the eyelash. And while you're studying, they're doing your hair. And they're saying, oh no, while you're standing up, they're sewing your dress back together. All of those. And so hair, makeup, you need someone who will prep your clothes for you. Someone who's going to be carrying manpower. You're going to need a brother or a few brothers or boyfriend or macho man to carry your luggage in and out. Those are, some things. If you don't need it, you can do all on your own. But really, it's very stressful. You don't think it is, but You're ready to cry. You're holding in your tears until you get to the car. You're ready to blow up. You're ready to fight your coach. You're ready to fight your mom. You're ready to fight anyone who's going to say something to you. Your trainer, the person telling you to go, the MC because they introduced you wrong. You're so on edge. And you're trying to now be nice. And there's girls poking you left or right, saying, hey, can I borrow this? Hey, I forgot my glue. Can you? You're just ready to explode. No, you will need each one of them to know their duties. And so they're not asking you, I'm going to shade your thumb. You don't need that. That's the last thing you need. So they know exactly where it's at. And no one was really good at that. No one took care of the clothes. No one brought her clothes. No one knew exactly which lug it was in. So I think she was a very, very important asset to the team. So you need all of that. So your mom don't even have to do any of that.
I would say that after experiencing my competition in Central Valley compared to Sacramento, I realized the importance of a team. So importantly, I just remember competing in Sacramento and it was just rush. And they said, oh, let's go everyone. And I just put my hat on so fast.
It was crooked.
It was crooked. And every time I go back and look at that photo, I'm just like, why would anyone let me walk out like that? Why would my pageant sisters let me do that? I would never do that. I will tell my pageant sister, your hat's crooked, girl, fix it. Yeah. But because I didn't have a team.
Reality truth is, at the end, pageant competition. Sister, competition. Competition comes first. You know, sometimes as much as we think, oh, we're here for sisterhood, the brutal reality is it's a competition. Yeah, if you trip, your nose is bleeding, I'll probably help you. But how many times when a person tripped, the other girl next to you is going to lift you up? No one on stage. I haven't seen that. Because I've seen a lot as judging. I've seen a lot of girls trip. And no one stopped in front of their dance routine to lift that girl up. They kept going. So that's something to consider. You know, yeah, you can't hate them. It's a game. Like they say, don't hate the player, hate the game. So get on the game.
That literally leads us to our next question is sisterhood and pageantry. Is it real or is it fake?
It can be what you make of it, but maybe this time you can share that first since, you know.
I think I always went in with the idea of I wanted to go in and make friends. I wanted to make sure these connections last past this competition. So I went in with an authentic value to wanting friendships and wanting sisterhood. However, as Paul has put it, sometimes it's not there, and you just have to kind of be okay with it.
Yeah, no, and I think that it's not really the competition itself. It's who you are and who they are. You know, like maybe they are a great person, but they didn't come in there with the same mentality as you. They didn't come in there with the goal of being your friend. And that's okay. Maybe you'll become friends outside of that, and you'll realize, oh, you're actually pretty cool. But man, you were a ick in there because their mindset wasn't on that, and so you can't take it personally. Because my first experience, there were 16 of us. We only had 3 days, and we competed. But some of them, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have MySpace during that time. So I didn't get a hold of anyone, but nowadays, those that I still come across, we still say hi. My second year, I wasn't the winner. We had a winner, and that year it was hard. We were all on edge because everyone that came competed before, and most of everyone were past winners or runner-ups, me included. So the competition, we went in with boxing gloves. Everyone went in with boxing gloves because we never met. A lot of them didn't fly in until the day before. So we didn't have a chance to even meet, and we didn't even speak. So it's up to whether or not you want to say hi and you want to establish that friendship, because I felt that I was not the oldest, but I was amongst one of the oldest. And so I feel like that's always me being the oldest in my family. It's in my nature to want to build a relationship, to be okay with them. And it wasn't my good year. I was in the middle of a breakup. I was fresh out of my relationship, and he happens to be there. And he was very supportive, and we were supporting all of us girls. But of course, the last thing you want to see is your ex supporting other girls, with you in it, right? So
wait, what?
so no, but he was always very supportive of my journey. I think that until this day, I'm still his friend. But I think that played a factor in everything. So my experience was rough, and so I wasn't the winner as well. So I feel like that year we didn't get the winner probably has some complications with the New Year as well. So that year we didn't get any like, oh, go to Chica Hope. We didn't get any of that until the crown gave him. So it was like, to us, it was like there was no bonding, but I knew of this girl before. And I knew of and I just knew of them, and I like every time so the if I see you, I would like to say hi until so if you don't, until I don't get any response and I realize you really don't like me, but it was fine, so I didn't think of it. But it was the last competition was, I knew I was the oldest, so we were close. I mean, at least to me, I feel like even though maybe it's it's a different experience because I got to be in every shoe of how I treat myself. Do I really want to go? Is it almost like we do ask ourselves, oh, nữ nhân là khôn này xứ, cô muốn chơi to pity person na, là need to chơi cô xứ, do I go? To now that cô actually yin na, cô sao cô to because I really want you to be there. You are my sister. Cái yin hay I would like you to be there, but then I would understand that to is because to them that was their experience. Who am I to tell them to come when yin na ya? Or maybe feel otherwise, and I didn't get that experience. But it was like never in my process never once did I do a project without letting them know, and at the end it was still from me and them. It was never me. It's not the competition, it's after competition. How do you treat them? How do you be mindful around them? How do you, when you invite them, how much do you think or consider them? Where you're out there and people are taking a picture of you, and what are they saying? They're saying, and your sister, second place, third place, is standing right there. How do they feel?
Horrible.
Yeah, horrible, because I was there. And so you got to be mindful, and this is where you correct them right away. And this is where you include your sister right away. And so learning from every angle, even as a watcher to a second place, a third place, a first place, a not getting a place, a judge, a coach, you learn different angles. And I think that's sisterhood is what you make of it, but you need to be the sister first before you can say oh, it's still my sister, my blood sister. You cannot be saying, oh, cô chỉ muốn phong you, là chỉ tao ba cô when you chủ tao tụi tao tây on tây một tụi phong you đó lợi nè, it thầu lợi sẽ cái lý tụi cộng bao đó lợi nè, it thầu cơ là tụi đó you get tụi rong nè. You have to be that person.
My parents always say that too. Like with the big tina, like so là chỉ tao đó you là you mu ba luôn nè, you mu ba là you do ra cho you sao khó xí nè, cái chỉ mu ba luôn, thầu cho you you need cái ba là tao chỉ tao là
You did all.
You did it. Cho tu xem, nhân được lại ha. But you tu mất rồi là chỗ đi trả, you cho khó xí á. Cho qua thì lúc thì tiền tao thì tiền gì lấy mua đa rồi đã có bao nhiêu nè. And so I think that's a value that and maybe it's not just in Hmong family, but I think it's just in general. Yeah. Right.
The most important thing that people always get away with, and we forget to kind of target, is families and loved ones of the contestant. You matter. So if you want to feed into that person negative things, they will be negative. Come on, or cheese. Because I trust you. You're my best friend. So for you to tell me that they cheated, I needed you the most to tell me that I did well. And you're over here telling me that, yo ma, lấy chi à, của bỏ nó cái này tao không nó của bỏ tiền nó tin là mòn đó nó mua không nói là chi, tuần chân tới tuần tới phong yêu tuần nhẹ tuần chỉ tuần phong yêu, cái là chi, cái cái chi à, because if God look at tuần trái, God chỉ xong một hai lần tới, God look at tu phong yêu God xong một hai lần tới, God look at tu hồng cao God xong một hai lần tới, God look at the sister, don't go cause a scene, because at the end of the day, those two sisters, nữ hen nữ tuần tao runner, mà là tu phong yêu rong, that you're over there, cái là tao má. Cú chỉ sao có được phong yêu thế nào? Because I'm like, đây có tu sister, tôi nó muốn cú nhẹ chỉ, tên nhà linh nhà nó tôi on tàu cú nhẹ, nó muốn cú nhẹ qua tu no, nè máu nè chạy, cú đi tu máu tu chạy này, cái đi chạy cú mà, right? Cái cú chỉ sao có tu friend no, so those are things we forget.
I agree so much on that. And this is where I said in the beginning that you don't actually know the experience until you competed it. And then it brings you into a bird's eye perspective of just, holy cow, these girls go through so much.
Yeah. And a lot of times a girl's experience is not ruined because of the experience itself. It's ruined because of the family and the fans and the friends of your own personal group. That's why it's ruined, because they are the one who continuously feed you aftermath. The competition itself is not stressful. Yes, it is, but it's not as stressful as the aftermath. The aftermath, you come home, you start to reflect on, and you know what? During all those lonely thoughts that's going through your head, who are there to still talk to you? Your family. Yo ma, you know who? You start to harbor all these hate because not because of them, but because of people close to you that you trust, that will always get you 100%, are the one feeding these thoughts to you. So you know what? If you love the people when they compete, if you see something bad on YouTube, don't become that troll. Delete it and block it away from the one you love. You don't need to feed into it, because it's gonna constantly pop up to remind that person. So be the nice person. At the Thanksgiving, December, Christmas, the Fresno, they got this in California, international, represent the Fresno na. You know, so those are things. Those are things. Right?
Who is that?
Those are
dropping in this channel.
But as dramatic as it sounds, these are things I've seen as a coordinator. I've coordinated before. I've judged before. I was a contestant myself. I've seen parents do that. It's a war zone. Right after it got the crown, it's a war zone. So I understand, but I really have to say, and then that's one thing that people don't realize is, and your family, they never get anyone to high low na ya. You never know why because all these people you love and you trust are the one feeding all this negative energy to you. That ready to move. So when you do things like that for people who love people who's gonna go, whether or not you agree, support them and support to all the way to the end. 10 years later, when they're still rolling onto YouTube, continuously still protect them and support them, because they choose to go. You're part of the journey.
When you say that about like just accepting your journey, it just really reminds me of my own personal journey, where I had to accept whatever happens, and even if that person made my journey difficult, I had to understand they might be going something difficult too, and I do not need to direct my anger, my frustration to that person. I need just to learn, accept, hey, that happened. I need to move forward. How can I move forward? And I think it goes back to being mindfulness. It's hard to be mindful, but again, if you can ground yourself in these hard moments, when there's so much pressure, when you're doubting yourself, when you have low self-esteem, how can you ground yourself and just listen? Like, hey, are you mindful of who you are, of your values, and let's move forward.
Let me just say, cheers.
Cheers.
To
Girl.
Cheers.
I agree.
Thank you so much to all of the perspective that Porsha has shared with us. What are some advice that we can give to young girls or any girls who wants to compete in future pageants? And not just to the girls, but to the community, to the families, to the people who are supporting these girls as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of it we kind of already talked about, but to be honest, when you're gonna support, be supportive. Support 10 years, 20 years from now, support. Because có một sĩ giàu lắm, cái dinh sử là có một số club nó hình giống cả. Tức là có sắm một chắc cả, sau đó là bỏ cái là hey các biết tụ cậu chỉ tàu cũng chung là cũng ra tàu rồi nữa. So you know, so be ready because however you look at it, tụi nìa luôn đa nè, nìa nhã nè, tụi nìa ilu có mỏ cua nè, có sợ mà cái chim blast á, thế thì tụi nìa cái nìa lúc cởi với cái ảnh đan tao, nên gọi trong tuần tết nó, cái sắm mua xì, cái sắm mua chắc cá nhã nhã hả, nhưng mà mua tên nhân giống cái nè. OK，因為我哋人用講係個錯氣呢，佢就生活氣啲，我哋都係佢有個 post 呢係報告嘅have 個路寫面知識嘅日度都係呢，我人哋講所以等你係一吵個做人一起吵了，但是嘛，人仲係啲 because 嗰度成呢樣嘢。人約假講啊，人約假個嘢老摸摸，等你嘅到學人約假個你要摸書係一路踏錯講啊，到學個嘢學什麼啲女嘅，個就只 effect 一度等你個 effect 一度面用出嚟，一度用到你急到高到咯，人哋講所以 however you want to make that journey， but own it, make it yours and own it. If you said that 可能要學個 move for a reason 啦，20 years from now。So, and then to family who have girls who's gonna go compete, boys who's gonna go compete, just know that you will really have to have their back in terms of like, no, don't be defensive, don't make a fool of themselves, don't be a fool. Your job is don't be a fool. Don't, because it's not going to affect you. You guys show like it affects that girl, that person who's gonna compete. So just keep that in mind, and you know, like you watch it, you own up to it, be accountable, have fun. Yeah, it's okay to have fun. People will say be yourself. Some girls say don't be yourself, but be yourself, because be yourself, but of course have stage presence. So when I say be yourself, I'm not gonna say go act a fool up there. Be yourself in terms of know what you're gonna talk about, know why you're gonna go up there, know your why. If you wanna just act a clown, go to the circus. But if you really want to go up there and represent something and really fight for something, yes, it's okay to be yourself, but speak your truth and orchestrate that well. Okay, so when you go up there, you know you did it all with the intelligence you have to the best of your ability, and okay, so yeah.
So we are at a wrap in this episode. Porsha, drop your handle. Where can we find you so that our listeners can come to you for more advice, more tips? Talk about things more than just pageantry as well.
Yeah, because you wear different hats and you always say this term.
She's a director. She's a spiritualist.
She's a
teacher, educator.
Oh, thank you, ladies. You guys are giving me a lot of credits here.
We can go on, but...
Yes. Yes, so if you guys want to follow my work, there's a few things. I do wear multiple hats. I think we all do. Sometimes we just don't publicize that. But aside from just teaching, my day job, I am, I finally just this year owned up to that I am a spiritual healer. I'm an empath. So if you would like to seek services, just for clarity purposes and closure, reach out to me. My Facebook is, I will give you my Porsha Production Facebook. It is just Porsha Production. That's Porsha and then production. You will find that's where it leads into all the things I produce, all the contents that I will be showcasing. And you will find out more about my healing series. It's a film series, a 4 short story that's going to be an anthology, will be published at the beginning of 2023. It's just about healing. And you will find more things about my work there, as well as if you would like to reach out for services, please. I also have live, I will go on live to do readings for you. I try to go on there weekly, once a week at least. So hit me up on there, or go to YouTube. YouTube, you will find me at Porsha Chang, Porsha. Last name is Chang, Chang. Meet me on there, and I got my contents from past work on there, short film. And so I will see you guys there. Hope to hear from you all soon. Thank you for having me, ladies.
You are so welcome, and thank you for making this episode so entertaining. We will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
You're listening to Girl Cheers. Thank you for sticking with us until the end of the episode. We hope that we made your day happier than it previously was, and you came out of it learning something new.
Unless it's a holiday and everyone should be taking all of their breaks as needed, please join us again the following week at the same time, Pacific Standard Time, for the next episode.
For more information and updates on Girl Cheers, please follow our social media pages on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, all by the name of Girl Cheers.
Or Or if you would like to become friends with Duji and I, find us on our Instagram handle at iamarialo and at Duji Chang.
If you think Ia and I have been entertaining, join us in the next episode because we're adding 2 more besties to the mix. Our next topic, we'll be talking about friends, friendships, and finding long-lasting friends. So grab your bestie, your favorite drink together, and tune in next week.